Okay, so it is Thursday, July 21st, nice and sunny. And we're here to discuss successfully navigating the market shift. I'm here with Jessica and Jennifer. And so the plan will be that, as you can tell, I've put together kind of a packet of information. This is all compiled from Inman News, which is a company that I subscribe to. It's kind of costly. So of course, if you're ever interested in subscribing, you can. But since it is costly, it's one of the things that I'm willing to pay for and then share the information that I think is applicable or most helpful to you, during these sessions. Or like, as Jessica knows, sometimes if I see something specific to a person, I'll just forward it to them because they provide a way for me to email you articles and stuff too. So I'm always just willing to share information. And so over the last month, they've had a few articles specifically about handling the market shift that I think are good to discuss. And so the plan will be that I'll share this information, and kind of after each point, I'll kind of pause. So then we can see if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, because this is meant to be, although I'm kind of presenting the information, more of a discussion, and I would rather you guys bring up things as we kind of go along rather than saving it till the end. Okay, so feel free to interrupt at any time. So we've got 3 different topics today. We'll start off with don't let the market define you, 3 ways to reset your attitude. And I started out with this one because, attitude is really kind of, I think, the beginning and one of the most important points to everything in life, but especially business. And so here it starts out with the recent market shift has some real estate professionals responding out of fear. Instead, dig down and get in touch with the fundamentals to develop a service-oriented approach that will win the day. And this particular article is by Todd Duncan, founder and CEO of Todd Duncan Coaching. And this was from June 30th. So he says, we've just closed second quarter. What a wild ride we are experiencing. And it seems things are continuing to get more volatile and challenging. A headline in January 2022 from CNBC said, mortgage rates, record low supply, and record high prices have house hunters feeling more frustrated than ever. Rates in February were 3%, and today they're 6%. Now that was in June. They've actually kind of come down a little bit since then. So I think they're a little bit below 6 now. Overall, interest rates are rising, confidence is waning, buyers are frustrated, inflation is real. Of course, that's all over the media, right? The buyer-seller market is not yet balanced either, right? Because although inventory is growing, a balanced market's really 4 to 6 months. Prices and the cost of living are up. Home affordability is a big deal. So if you're a mortgage or real estate veteran, you've seen this before and have gone through it. But if you're newer, welcome to the Mortgage and Real Estate Reset of 2022. Successful mortgage and real estate professionals understand you don't let the market define your success, you define how you will succeed no matter what the market does. Since we don't control the market, we can control what we do in that market to help people win and achieve the goals they seek. If we focus on them, they will in kind help us. In times like this, seek a constant reset mentally and strategically. The 3 resets you must make now are, and then we'll go through each of these and kind of take a break between each one. Number 1, choose abundance over scarcity. There are buyers and sellers in any market. You will attract them with the right mindset and vibe. You will also stand out because of others' scarcity and fear. Remember, in markets like this, you will have less competition because a population of those people will not make it. W. Clement Stone wrote, there is very little difference between the successful and the unsuccessful, but the little difference makes a big difference. The little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it's positive or not. So what do you guys think of that first point?
I think attitude is infectious. So if you're positive, others will be positive. And rather than, if you come from a place of negative, I just want to exit the room, so yeah, makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I actually had this problem this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, feel free to share. Like that's, if you want to, that's what this is for.
Well, because of high interest rates, I don't know, last time I spoke with you, I kind of felt like all my clientele, like half of them gone because of the amount of things I've been hearing in the media and then everything that's going on. But today I realized that I just have to change my attitude. So I'm glad this is the point.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to hear that you realized it on your own too, you know? So at least this is more of kind of validation of, okay, yep, I'm on the right track, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, and there are always, and I've definitely found this, I'm sure we all have, right? Where some people are just really negative and they come from a negative place. And like sometimes no matter what we do, we aren't going to be able to pull them out, you know? And so sometimes, especially in this kind of market, those people just leave alone and focus on those that maybe you do feel like maybe with some education, that sort of stuff may be able to change, right? Because I mean, yeah, the media is very negative all the time. Like I have to kind of try to tune some of it out, you know, otherwise it's easy to get overwhelmed and start feeling negative. But what we have to do, and it's going to be talked about in here too, is just really provide the facts to both buyers and sellers in this challenging time right now, you know, and that's how we can connect with them. And because many of them, yeah, it's hard to believe that now is the best time to buy, but it really is, you know, rates and prices are only going to go up. And so, but there's a process to that too, and that we have to gain their trust first and then slowly start providing more and more information and educating them. So then they truly understand the situation, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, maybe some of your buyers, they just aren't qualified and won't for a while until they get a raise or something. But for those that are kind of on the fence, if they can, then really, honestly, they should. So it's just a matter of working with them, you know,
Right.
and it's going to be talking about here too about, but listening to them, finding out, okay, what are their concerns? What are their fears? And trying to alleviate those, right?
Mhm.
But we need to try to stay positive. Not that we need to be positive all the time, but because I think we all have stuff come up, you know, we all have bad days or bad hours, right? But it's a matter of, okay, letting that go and then being positive in front of our clients.
Mhm.
Anything else? Okay, so the second way to reset is make trust your number one goal. Markets like this produce concern, doubt, and fear. Your job is to instill faith, hope, and confidence. Everything gets easier as trust gets higher. Understanding this model means knowing that trust is the most attractive asset you have in your toolbox in any market, and especially now. There are 4 layers of trust you must pay very close attention to in this market. They are in order. First, humanity. This is where connection takes hold. It is where relationship is birthed. It is where emotion is unleashed and where trust begins. Transparency. This is where truth is mandatory. High truth creates high trust. Staying clear, purposeful, honest, and humble is attractive to your prospects and clients right now. Truth requires both the good with the bad, what is and what isn't. One of the greatest elements here is your knowledge, advice, and commitment to doing the right thing. Number 3 is capability. This is the ability to get the job done. Any consumer who has high confidence that the deal is going to get done will say yes faster. Here you must rely on everything from social surveys, reviews, video testimonials, and what I refer to as endorsement value. And 4th, reliability. With the rare exception, everything you say will happen happens repeatedly. Consumer confidence in you breeds retention and conversion and referrals. So what do you guys think about trust?
It's one of the most important things to closing the sale. How strong that trust is, you know, really what closes the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I agree. Or it's about even building it in the first place to converting that kind of prospect to a client, right?
yeah.
You've got to have that. And but that's where, like, at the same time, and I know Jessica and I've talked about this, we aren't going to be able to gain the trust of everyone. Sometimes there's different cultural conflicts or ideas or things, and sometimes it's just not a good fit, you know? And so I think that's part of what's kind of hard in our business is we have to realize we aren't going to get 100% of the business. You've got to just accept it and move on and focus on those that do value the same things, you know, because that's a whole big thing too, is we tend to work with people with the same values.
Sure.
So sometimes we just won't be able to gain their trust, and that's fine. Do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, absolutely. And especially with like the transparency, I've said it before. This person that I met at one of my open houses, I've been constantly trying to keep in touch, and he finally reached out, but he wanted me to do like a kind of market survey on like property management, because he wants to buy an investment. And that's not something I can do, because that's not my job. And my fear was that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell this person this and then probably gonna disappear, because I was so excited. He had messaged me, but he's like, okay, great. This is what I'm looking for. I'm like, okay, and I think that it's kind of like what it says. It's like, good or bad. It could have gone one way or another. Still messaging me all the time. I send him all the time. He'll send me a little message in one home, like, oh, so, but it worked out, but there was that fear, of like,
Yeah, we just have to accept that sometimes the result or the outcome may not be what we want it to be.
yeah,
It's best to just see what happens and then move on from there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the third way to reset your attitude is to go all in on relationship value. Solve, don't sell. Listen, don't talk. Get very in tune with what your prospects and clients want and give it to them. The market I began in as a loan officer, I guess this guy was originally a loan officer, is the market that our current market is being referred to. People were still buying and selling real estate. The Great Inflation was the defining macroeconomic period of the 20th century and lasted from 1965 to 1982. In 1980, inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index was 15%. Inflation rates rose throughout the 1970s, reaching double-digit levels in 1979 and peaking at 22% in 1980. 30-year fixed mortgages were 18.5%. FHA, VA were 16.5% and 5 points. So I chose the strategy of doubling down on relationship value, widening my marketing effort, and helping my clients win. My questions for every agent, builder, and referral partner was this: what can I do right now to help you win? What are you most afraid of, and how can we turn that into a positive? Where do you want to be when the recession ends, and how can I help you get there? My questions for every borrower: let me show you how to feel safe buying now and not waiting. And let's see where that leads you. See, like that would be perfect for right now, right? Are you okay with that? What are you most afraid of? And how can I help you get comfortable moving forward now? That would be another great question right now. What's essential about owning a home to you? And is the timing starting to feel right to move forward? And the magic: listen with the intent to solve, not to sell. Don't be needy, be valuable. And what does all this mean? I believe the market in which we find ourselves is a great market to hit the gas, be positive, be informed, be valuable, and be connected. Formulating and committing to these 3 resets will be your North Star as we power into the balance of this year and next. So what do you guys think of that third part of focusing on relationships and asking questions to try to help them resolve their fears?
I think that's really important. I mean, like, everyone's fearful right now, and for myself, I'm just trying to be of service, however I can, and to let them know.
Mm-hmm. Anything to add? If you don't, it's fine.
Hit it on the nail.
Okay, maybe these questions have helped give you some ideas of what you can ask, right? Of course, you could reword it, but I think those are really good questions that might help move people forward. Okay, so the next topic: 5 truths every agent should know about shifting markets. A shifting market differentiates those who've developed professionally and those who are just pretending. Here's the reality check that you need right now. And this is an article that was from Jimmy Burgess, CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Florida. And it was actually just from the 17th. So this was something where I had originally had, I don't know, a couple other topics, but then this one came up and I decided I wanted to add this one. It's very applicable. So he says, Mark Twain once said, history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Although every market shift has looked a little different, there are patterns in every shift. These patterns produce truths regarding agent and consumer behaviors. They set the stage for the agents who will gain market share during these normal cyclical times of change. An understanding of these truths can help you thrive while others struggle to survive. And so the first is, people want to deny a change is happening. There's always that happens, right? To believe that things will stay the same would be naive. Change happens continuously. The problem is that most people want to deny change is happening because change in the market demands that agents change. Denying change never works in their favor. No one ever found consistent growth through drifting and going with the flow. True success comes through adapting to change, putting together a purposeful plan of action, and executing that plan. What's your plan? What's your new strategy for this new market environment? Now is the time to evaluate your business with a fresh set of eyes. Take inventory of your marketing, prospecting, and the efficiency or lack thereof of your daily schedule. Refine these to reflect the needs of your clients now and to increase your value to the marketplace. The act of adjusting earlier than others provides you the ability to serve your clients better and to increase market share. Any discussion after that one?
I've just been trying to figure out how to focus myself in trying to prospect more, so definitely being a brand new agent. So, just thinking of additional ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and definitely.
Yeah, because they say like for even an experienced agent, we should be spending about 25% of our time prospecting. I think for a new or newer agent, then it should be even more than that. It might be more like 50% or so, prospecting for business. And of course, that's assuming that you're working your database and open houses and doing other things rather than paying for leads. But that's where the paying for leads comes in handy, because of course you're paying money, but you can be more passive and sit back and wait for the inquiries, right? It's just that then are the inquiries really quality inquiries and things or not, right? And so the idea is with open houses and working your database, you should get a higher rate of return on your time and investment.
Yeah. Like tomorrow, I want to go, I'm going to try earlier for my door knocking, and see if maybe before and then go a little later,
Okay.
and do it, because I was thinking maybe I can hit like people during the morning, instead of the people that when they're coming home at night and
Mm-hmm.
and are like they walk away from you.
Yeah, or I guess it is kind of hard because you're trying to go on a Friday too,
Yeah.
where it's the end of the week and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was thinking about trying to shoot
Yeah,
that.
because who knows? Maybe you'll
Afternoon.
end up finding out that Friday afternoon is a good time to door knock. It's possible.
I'll just do it. I'm just gonna do it all the time, just to figure out when the best is that.
Mhm. And you did drive by that home in SeaTac to try to make sure it was.
I'm
gonna be
going there after this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I already made the commitment, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what's hard is because you do have to do a certain amount of research online and stuff and make a commitment. So I guess to explain what Jessica's really been focusing on as a way to try to prospect for herself is she's been holding, 2 open houses each weekend for a few weeks. And then she's been trying to door knock ahead of time too. Unfortunately, she's just had some bad luck in neighborhoods and things where soliciting wasn't allowed and stuff. But a big key to open houses is, and this is one of the chapters, and we could cover when you join too if you want, is not that it's an exact science, but there's definitely like best practices to trying to find a good listing to hold open. There's several different factors. And I think although we definitely discussed it and stuff, now that Jessica has more practice with it, she's just finding that to be true and finding out even more things, right, that make for a good open house. So practice really helps.
No, absolutely. And each week, I like when I've gone out for like the door knocking, and and learning different ways. Before, like, if I didn't get a response, I didn't leave anything because I thought maybe I shouldn't, I'm like, but now I'm just gonna leave my little flyer,
Yeah, and that's a reminder of where, obviously, had I had any idea that you weren't leaving anything,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
So
sure.
it's like she just didn't even think to ask me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of hard, right? Because I'm not following you
Yeah.
around. I don't know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's just a reminder of anytime you have any question about anything, there is no dumb question.
Yeah.
I would rather you ask, because maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. Maybe it's not a big deal. Or maybe like in this case, had you asked me earlier, I've been like, yeah, of course you'll need
Yeah.
something, well, otherwise you just wasted your time going up to that door.
Right.
So there's just no dumb question.
Mhm.
Just always shoot me a text and I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because like I openly say, I mean, I know I've said it to you a lot, but to everybody, I'm here to help. I want to make sure you're taking advantage of every opportunity and the most of your time and money that you're spending, so. Okay, so number 2 for truths that agents should know is ego is going to kill a lot of business. Okay, I don't think we really have that problem in this office, but we'll cover this anyways, just so you can be aware of it out there. Ego is one of the biggest leading indicators for agent failure in shifting markets. The market has made all of us look better than we are over the past few years. During market changes, the market can make many agents look worse than they are just as easily. Now is not the time to run vanity ads or posts about how great you are or how much business you've closed. Now is the time to provide solutions to the most pressing issues for buyers and sellers. Now is the time to market in a way that shines the light on the home you just listed instead of yourself for taking a listing. Now is the time to tell the story of your buyer and seller, making them the hero and main character instead of you. Now is not the time to let your ego tell you that you have this real estate thing figured out. Now is the time to humble yourself and become the most knowledgeable agent in your city. Double down on your education and learn how to serve your clients at a more professional level. The more you know, the more you grow. And then one of the RE/MAX sayings is, the more you grow, the more you, oh crap, I just spaced it, but it's the more you, something about how the more you learn and grow, the more your money and profit's going to grow too. That they tend to be tied together. So I didn't say that the right way, but if you go into the RE/MAX stuff, you'll see it. They have a little slogan for that. Although it has been said that pride comes before the fall, I believe the reverse is true as well. Humbleness comes before the rise. So anything about that one?
No, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it is a good reminder that the focus really just needs to be on the clients right now. The influence around you will be amplified is number 3. Times of change amplify the influence of those around you. This can be explained by the fact that change creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates an environment where we search for ways to adapt to the change. The question is not whether those around you will influence you or not. The question is whether you are surrounded by a group of people that will influence you in a positive manner or a negative manner. Here is an example to help illustrate this truth. If I am married and going through a difficult time in my marriage, and my desire is to have a healthy marriage, would it be better if the men I spent time with were recently divorced or happily married men? Now apply this to your business. If your desire is to have a thriving business, would it be better for you to surround yourself with people that are getting out of the business or agents that are growing their businesses? Surround yourself with growth-oriented, positive action takers. Surrounding yourself with effective people is one of the most important factors determining your level of success in a shifting market. Choose wisely. And that is one of the reasons why I do these agent developments in person, as well as the office meetings. So we have a chance for those that are available to come here in person and kind of collaborate and synergize, it's said that, I forget who it was that said it, but that we're kind of the sum of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with. And I think that is true. So important in business too. Number 4, in times of change, there is a flight to safety. In times of uncertainty, buyers and sellers want to know they are working with an agent and company they can trust. When the economy is making people nervous, there is a flight to brands that are viewed as safe. Of course, I can't skip saying anything about Remax, right? Remax has been around for 49 and a half years. What is it, like over 83 or 85% of people that just see the Remax name know it's a real estate company. We've been around a long time. We're home to the top producing agents. Those are all good things for us, right? The value of being associated with a trustworthy brand, both company brand and your personal brand, increases dramatically during times of change. Buyers and sellers want to know their home buying or selling process is being handled by a professional. Are you viewed as a trusted professional in your market? If not, here are a few ways to build and earn the trust buyers and sellers desire. Share testimonials from past clients. Document via Instagram stories your processes for launching a listing, hosting an open house, or finding a buyer the perfect home. Share the stories of how you helped clients overcome obstacles that led to successful closings. Record and share videos explaining the current market statistics. Position yourself as the most professional and trustworthy agent in your market. By doing so, your business will continue to grow whether the market goes down, up, or sideways over the next few years. Any comments about that one?
Well, video is the hottest thing out there. And like I follow so many people on Instagram. And I mean, like, and you just see every day they're giving something, even if it's just a real short, they're trying to give something of value, you know, and I think that's amazing. I myself am so critical of myself in front of the camera. It's a little harder, you know, but I mean, I wish I could. I try to put that information out there, but it's not me in front of the camera. But I see them and I'm like, I'm enamored. I would love to be able to do that. And I need to do something to get myself to do it, I guess, because that's what everybody wants, you know?
Well, but at the same time, I guess, you know, we all have strengths and weaknesses too.
Yeah.
And so although we see a lot of that stuff out there, that isn't like necessarily required for you to be successful either. We can all find success in different ways too. And so that's why I feel like, okay, these are good ideas, but it's not that you necessarily have to become an Instagram expert either. You know?
Right. Of course, videos, so.
Yes, no, yeah, you're definitely out there a lot. Okay, and then the fifth truth is players are separated from the pretenders. The red hot real estate market made all of us look better than we were over the past few years. The market is changing rapidly, and the separation between players or professionals and pretenders, which are the amateurs, will become more and more evident. Warren Buffett said it this way: only when the tide goes out do you find out who's been swimming naked. The tide is going out. If you've been a pretender over the past few years, it's not too late to become a player. Everybody lacks knowledge and the ability to operate at a high level early in their career. It's not a crime to start out lacking the ability to serve your clients. The crime is if you never do the work to get past it and become the agent your clients deserve. Change always creates opportunity. In every business cycle, there are people who gain market share and people who lose market share. Understand the truths mentioned above and apply them to your business. If you do so, you will have the ability to build the business of your dreams. So any comments about any of the truths? Hopefully they're helpful. Okay, so the third and final topic is to how to make the most of your time during a market slowdown. A market shift is a perfect time to revisit your communication and best practices so that you can provide the best possible client services. This is from Julie, I don't know, I'm guessing Busby, is the founder and president of Busby Group. And this was an article from July 11th. So she says, a market slowdown is a prime time to show clients the difference between a mediocre real estate broker and a professional. A slower pace provides more time for strategy, communication, and intentional action for both you and your clients. It also means very different things for buyers and sellers. Here's a breakdown of what you can do right now to show your professionalism to all clients. For buyers, energize and engage. It is counterintuitive, but sometimes a slower market means the momentum for a buyer lags too. Think of ways to get your buyer excited about the process again. Consider a conversation with the lender about new or different products and scenarios that could bring attractive rates. Also, help your buyer resist the temptation to write off properties that have sat on the market a little longer than normal. If there is a deal to be had in this market, something that has sat could be it. And then also reconsider perfection. When a market is moving at warp speed, buyers forget their ultimate goals. Sit down with your buyer and re-examine the big picture to see if a different type of home or location may work for them. Remind your buyers how a new home can improve their quality of life by living near family, closer to work, more outdoor space, etc. During a broader market slowdown, excellent quality of life is more important than ever. And I think that would be another good one. Like we've talked about in some of the Remax Momentum chapters, like understanding what your buyers and sellers goals really are really helps, because then when things get kind of tough, right, we can remind them of why they want to purchase a home, why they're trying to make a move, right? And so like in here, they're using the example of living near family or whatever their goal is, can maybe help them get through the ugh of the rates or whatever, right? And just get it done, you know? So I think that that's really helpful. Zero in on what matters and think creatively, oh, I'm messing up that word today, about alternative homes that may work. Maybe an end unit townhome may work for a single family home buyer or a home in a slightly different neighborhood. During this creative brainstorming process, you may also save your buyers significantly on the purchase price. Speed up during a slowdown. Warren Buffett wisely says, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Help your buyers see a slower market as an opportunity. Yeah, Warren Buffett has some interesting
That's a
quotes.
great.
Yeah, but there is something to it. It kind of makes
Mhm.
sense. So yeah, I guess the tips were to energize and engage, reconsider perfection. I guess I would also say remind buyers and sellers of their goals. Anything else?
I think the motivation is the most important thing.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important when we're doing our consultations with buyers, so to find out what it is, you know, what their plans are, what their goals are. Okay, so for sellers, price it right. It has been proven again and again that pricing to the market right off the bat is the best way to get top dollar for a property. A market slowdown is not the time for experimentation. Overpriced properties will sit. Pricing to the market up front is the best way to draw in the most motivated buyers, which is the best way to ensure as many strong offers as possible. And second, for sellers, price adjustments draw in fresh eyes. If a property is not sold in 3 to 4 weeks, it's time to consider a price adjustment of 2% or more. At that rate, a new audience of buyers will consider the property, which is the ultimate goal of a price adjustment. While sellers love receiving excessive amounts of offers, remind them that it only takes one buyer to sell a home. Timing is everything. In many marketplaces across the country, September and October are very strong times to sell a home, but with the fluctuations in interest rates, it may make more sense to sell during the summer because rates may continue to go up. Remember, inventory is still incredibly low and there's not enough inventory to meet demand, and we never know what the future holds when it comes to inventory. That's why, yeah, I think for anybody that's considering selling, they're probably going to have a bigger pool of buyers the sooner they got on the market, right? Because with rates continuing to go up, that pool may only get smaller.
Right.
And aren't they, I mean, I was reading that they said it might even go up a whole percent in the next, what was it? It wasn't.
Yeah, that was
the
something that the National
Associ-
Association of
yeah.
Realtors put out.
Yeah,
And so we'll have to see what ends up happening. But yeah, more interest rate hikes are on the horizon. So like, you know, there's different ways to say it, but this is like one of the things that I think is really important is for everybody to understand right now is that, you know, there's some people that do prefer to rent, and that makes sense for some people. There's some advantages, right? And they don't have to worry about home maintenance and stuff. But with inflation, rents are just going to continue to go up. For a home buyer, I like to call it that they're sort of solidifying a housing payment, or they're stabilizing their housing payment, right? Because if they do a fixed rate, their mortgage payment is technically going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to vary is their homeowner's insurance and their property taxes, which is going to be kind of minimal, right? But they have more control over their housing payment that way than if they're renting. And with rates and prices expected to continue to go up. The sooner someone gets into something, the better, because they're going to get more for their money and they're going to have a lower monthly payment. And so that's where, you know, even before you join, if you have some clients that maybe you're kind of struggling with and you want help with, you know, we can set up a time to kind of go over some possible scripts or dialogues, things that you can say to try to help them become more serious.
Yeah.
But I guess, do you guys have any other comments about the final topic, how to make the most of your time, which is kind of just general tips, I think. Okay, I'll go ahead and stop the recording then.